Hello, everyone. This is Jenna Ryan with Self Love You with another audio. Happy New Year. Happy 2020. Today I'm going to talk about losing yourself by valuing someone else too much. Losing yourself by valuing someone else too much. This happens in a narcissistic relationship, in a narcissist codependent relationship, when you are abused by a narcissist, someone with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, or just maybe a selfish person that you're with, a toxic person. When this happens, you lose yourself because you place too much value on the other person. This is a tragedy. Because it is something that if you do this in relationship, there is a high potential that you were raised to do this. Because a lot of times children are not taught their value. And if you were not taught your value as a child, as an adult, you are going to give yourself away. You're going to place more value on your significant other than you place upon yourself. And in relationship, you're going to lose yourself. And it happens. And so you have to hold on to yourself. You have to catch yourself. You have to keep hold of yourself. And you have to be aware that this occurs. When you are someone who has a tendency to lose yourself in a relationship and place too much value on the other person, then you're going to be more inclined to choose partners who are going to soak up that attention, that focus that you're giving to them. Because that's what it's all about, right? Focus. Where you place your focus. If you're valuing another person, you're focusing on them more than you're focusing on yourself. When you have a deficit in self-love, when you have a deficit in self-identity, when you find your identity in other people instead of in yourself, you will lose yourself to that person because your focus will come out of yourself and onto the other. So things that were important to you before the relationship started suddenly lose their luster. And it's not anything that you're consciously aware of. It's just a natural, like suddenly you don't feel like hanging out with your friends like you did before. Or suddenly you don't want to play the piano like you did before. Or suddenly you don't have an urgent need to journal like you were doing daily before you met this person. Or suddenly you don't have as much motivation to go on hikes, or motivation to swim in the mornings, or motivation to go on runs, or motivation to go to the gym. And your focus becomes hyper-focused on your significant other. Couple this with the fact that, just one moment, couple this with the fact that if that is your tendency, then you're probably also going to fall for someone who is very selfish and who is very self-centered and who is very chaotic. Because narcissists who attract these people who give themselves away in relationship are very chaotic. They create chaos. And in the chaos, you begin to become hypervigilant because you're waiting for the next shoe to drop. And the narcissist conducts a series of shite tests, tests to see how much crap you'll take, and intermittent reinforcement, hot and cold behavior, push and pull behavior. And when this happens, the person who gives themselves away in relationship becomes tunnel vision on the other. And you really can't think about anything else. It's obsessive. You become addicted to the other person. So you give up yourself. You lose yourself in the process of valuing the other person too much because you have not been taught to stay rooted and grounded in your truth. So you give your truth away. And what is your truth? Well, I believe that your truth is your focus, your focal point, what you're thinking about. If you want to know where your truth is, think about what you're thinking about all the time. And if you add on top of this, the fact that you tend to lose yourself and you tend to value the other person too much, you also add on top of that all of the love hormones that course through your veins, like oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin, that our bodies produce when we feel like we're falling in love and we're attaching. Oh my gosh, you have a soup of complete and utter loss of self. You lose yourself and you begin to value the other person. The process of falling in love is the process of merging ego boundaries. That is natural. It's natural to merge ego boundaries when you're falling in love. This can become detrimental to someone who already has a deficit of self-love and tends to lose themselves in the process of valuing someone else too much. It becomes, it's just a very defeating, it's diminishing of the self. And so it's very important, if you are someone who has a deficit in self-love and you're working on discovering your truth, your worth, and you're learning to focus on yourself and bring the attention to yourself and really sit within yourself. Because a lot of times, if we weren't taught to love ourselves appropriately as children, we don't even exist in our own bodies. We're dissociated from our own bodies. We're not attached and in tune with our feelings, with our senses, with our intuition, with our truth. We're not centered within, but we're centered externally. We have an external locus of control. So this is very dangerous in relationship. It will cause someone to get into an abusive relationship, a relationship where the self is lost, where the self becomes second fiddle, where you become numb, you can't even feel your own feelings, and all you can do is focus on the other. And the other is generally, in these situations, you're going to attract and be attracted to someone who is a attention whore, a hog. They're going to hog all the attention and they're going to soak it up. And they're not going to return what you're giving out. And you're going to become depleted. And they're going to use you up. And at the end of the day, they're going to discard you. They're going to devalue you. And once you lose yourself to another person, their value of you, their assessment of you becomes more important than that of your own self. And this is dangerous. And so I think you understand that this happens with narcissism abuse. This happens when you're in a relationship with an abusive person. You know, some people deal with domestic violence and the cycle of violence. It's very important that you stay in tune with yourself and you take measures to stay attached to yourself. This is going to involve meditation. It's going to involve breath work. It's going to involve conscious choosing thoughts that feel foreign, because focusing on yourself may not feel normal because you're so used to giving everything away to the person you love. And you place so much value on the person you love because you think that that person's going to bring you value. So that's where all of your energy is going. and it seeps out of you until you become a heap of bones and flesh and blood veins and blood, and you're just a nothing, and you have nothing left. And then the narcissist stomps on you and leaves, and you're left with nothing. But then you can build yourself back up, and that's what the next video is going to be about. Okay? Talk to you soon. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. Hope you like all these videos. Talk to you soon.